Heaven's Journey to Life. Day 5, the evolution of survival and the cost of life. Self-forgiveness. Self. What? Who is the self that is forgiving? What one will realize with the reading the Destiny material and listening to the Destiny videos and interviews is that this self is currently existing as a mind, as we refer to it, the mind consciousness system. As we as human beings have become a consciousness of energy that has created ourselves into a functioning system as the mind, which consists of and exists as the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, with all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, personalities, constructs, patterns, knowledge, and information. With walking this process of Heaven's Journey to Life, in this blog with us, you will see, realize, and understand how this self, as the mind consciousness system we've created, manifested, and programmed, have become to define and control our very physical living in this physical existence. And through our living as the mind, have we created, manifested the existence of the world system and how we as humanity interact, function, and participation on this earth within this physical existence. Self-forgiveness, thus, is self as the mind consciousness system taking responsibility for ourselves as what we've become as the mind within and created with the mind without. Consciousness currently exists as programs of knowledge and information that exist within the nature and substance of energy. And because consciousness as the manifested mind has taken absolute control and directive principle of ourselves within and without as the world system, to take our place and stand as the directive principle of ourselves and this world, we have to stand with consciousness, with the mind, and with this world, essentially like reinserting ourselves and our responsibility into and as that which we've separated ourselves from as the mind and this world system. What we've realized with Destiny and the process of writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application is that we're not going to change the system through trying to fight it or destroy it in relation to who we are as individuals in comparison to the extent of the mind consciousness system and the world system. Fighting and resisting it is futile because of the extent we've separated, diminished, and inferiorized ourselves as individuals in our relationship to the mind and the world system. Therefore, the key is to stop relationships of separation towards our mind and this world system, realizing that the mind and this world system is our creations, representing parts of ourselves we've separated ourselves from. So fighting it or resisting it is equal to and one with standing in front of ourselves and trying to fight and resist ourselves. And only self is the one that gets compromised within this. Thus, it is to become yourself, standing equal to and one with yourself as what we've currently become as the mind and the world system. And in that equality and oneness, stand within a starting point of equality and oneness to see what of self requires changing, transforming, stopping, that will in one's beginning, beingness, and living contribute not only to the one's own life and living in this world, but to all as self. This process of self-equality and oneness will become more clear within the continuation of the self-forgiveness process in this blog. The process we walk here is to, through self-forgiveness, identify the relationships of separation within ourselves as the mind and without as the world system. From identifying the relationship of separation, face within the walking of self-forgiveness, the consequences such relationships of separation has created and manifested for ourselves within and without. And simultaneously, within the seeing and facing of the consequence, realize the solution as ourselves as we, within our self-commitment statements, restate ourself and our standing with this self aligning ourselves to living within a starting point of equality and oneness. Therefore, we walk ourselves from mind separation through self-forgiveness statements to self as physical equality and oneness through self-commitment statements, and then to self-application, where we actually practically within our worlds change, transform the way we live in, through, and as our human physical bodies. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand the reality of what I have become as the mind, consciousness, and energy, as the manifested separation of me from myself, as the physical, as the manifested representation of my equality and oneness with and as all of this physical existence, equal to and one with how I have not accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand the reality of what I have created as me, as the world system and money that separate all of humanity as me from this physical existence, earth, and all and everything and everyone within and as it. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, through energy as consciousness, separate me from my physical equality and oneness with my human physical body, and so this very physical existence, equal to and one with how I have continued to accept and allow my creation as the world system of and as money, to separate all of me as humanity from each other, the physical, the earth, the animal kingdom, and this existence as a whole. I forgive myself that I have not accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how my relationship lines to myself, others, the earth, the animal kingdom, and this physical existence have become defined within the nature and context of energy, and with my starting point towards all as me, existing in separation. Each relationship has been defined, programmed according to my interpretation and experience of what part of me, of that part of me. And so develop knowledge and information programs that I use to relate to and connect to those and such parts of me. Knowledge as the recognition of that part existing within my world, and information as how I have formed that part of me within myself and my mind based on what I see and experience through my mind and energy, equal to and one with how the world system of money define relationships to all that is physical within this existence, where the world system, money, interpret the lives and conditions of humanity through knowledge and information as statistics, and so the relationships of the world system through money is based on statistics as interpretation of reality, the physical, as I base and define my interpretations of physical reality based on the knowledge and information of my experiences. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to value, define what is physical here through energy, knowledge, and information as my own personal experiences. In this, not seeing the actual physical equality and oneness of myself with and as all parts of me. And so my understanding of reality, the physical, became based on interpretations with the consequences of this, that I will accordingly think, speak, and do based on my knowledge and information of reality, the physical, and not consider the actual physical consequences for others as me, equal to and one with how the world system of money operate, function, and exist as the consequences of relating to, connecting to humanity, the earth, the animal kingdom, and all that is physical through interpretations of statistics. What is not considered and regarded is the consequences this manifests in the actual physical conditions, lives of humanity, the earth, the animal kingdom, as money only considers, regards itself, its own survival, equal to and one with how my energy and my experiences only regard, consider itself, not at all seeing the consequences this separation creates and manifests in the actual physical lives of what shares this existence with me in equality and oneness. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand the consequences my relationship towards myself as this physical existence create, manifest with my starting point of who I am standing within separation as consciousness, as energy, relationships, which has manifested me into and as a position of survival. Substance is what has been eternal here, and I separated myself from here as substance, and in that separation, diminished myself from and as substance and manifested me into an individual energy containment as the mind that became consciousness, not seeing, realizing, or understanding that energy in its very nature requires constant, continuous experience which is created from my constant continuous friction of separation from myself as substance existence feeds its existence. Therefore, for energy to exist, I have to maintain my constant continuous friction with myself as substance, as my equality and oneness with and as all, to from the friction create experience as energy. In this, the manifestation of and as the mind, manifested within and as that very purpose, to create and manifest constant, continuous friction between myself and all that exists as me, as my equality and oneness with myself, substance, to so continue surviving as energy, as the mind consciousness. In this, all my relationships to and towards all that is me within existence have been created, programmed with the purpose of generating friction for me to continue surviving with energy as the mind consciousness. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to deliberately create, program my relationships to and towards all that is me within a purpose of generating friction for me to continue existing, surviving as energy, and within that, creating, programming, manifesting a system as the mind that has become automated as consciousness that would exist, function for me, and continue ensuring my survival as energy. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to become energy as the mind consciousness to such an extent that I, from the moment of experiencing friction towards existence as me, defined my relationships within and as energy, and constructed, built, manifested the entire system as the mind consciousness, and created, manifested extensive networks, unified fields, as all my relationships towards existence as me manifested into constructs of memories, remembrances, to not forget my initial decisions of who I am in relationship towards all of existence as me, as my individual experiences. And so my relationships towards all that is me became based within memories, remembrances, for my system as mine to constantly and continuously create friction towards all of existence as me, as how I decided to program and create those relationships based on my initial experience encounter with all parts of me as me. In this, my entire existence became based on memory experiences, never seeing, standing with the reality of this existence as me, as we could constantly, continuously move, change, transform, evolve. And so I've been evolving in separation from and of me as this existence, and moved, transformed, evolved within and as an entirely opposite direction, where I moved and evolved into and as energy, as mind, as separation, while the substance that is physical, that is equality and oneness, has continued existing, expressing within and as its manifested equality and oneness. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, within this separation from and of all that is me, manifest my relationships within the starting point of self-interest, to generate and gain energy only for myself, to experience only myself as energy, to solidify, certify my survival and continued existence as energy, equal to and one with the nature, purpose of and as the world system of money, that only exist within the purpose of interest, to continue surviving as a system of and as money, where world system have become physical entities on this earth that only exist to generate and gain money for itself, to solidify, certify its continued existence as a world system of money. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how my evolution of and as my mind consciousness system to only gain, generate energy for me, for my own survival, would manifest me into a state, condition of existing where I only consider and regard my own survival and the interest of gaining, generating energy through friction, even if it means at the cost of another individual's existence, future, equal to and one with how this world system of money has been manifested, where the world system of money will generate, gain money for and as itself within its own interest of survival, continued existence, even if it means at the cost of billions of beings, animals, insects, and Earth's very existence, future. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how energy through friction feeds off of my very substance of and as equality and oneness, wherever there exists equality and oneness, my mind consciousness system will utilize that manifested equality and oneness, transform it into a relationship of friction as experience, and define that relationship within a particular interpretation of knowledge and information. In this, not seeing, realizing, and understanding how the more and more and more I go into friction with and as substance, as my equality and my oneness, with and as all that exists, that what diminishes is substance itself, as energy becomes like a veil, an alternate reality that I superimpose onto and towards actual reality as this existence, physical reality. What happens within this is that I interact, participate, live in existence, this physical existence from within and as energy that needs the very substance of existence, the physical, to exist, to constantly and continuously create friction. The consequences of this has been that I have diminished myself from my equality and oneness with and as existence, as in this diminishment, diminished what is and has always in fact been real, here, substantial as the physical, my human physical body, and this physical existence with all and every living being manifestation expression. So that what evolved was the mind energy at the cost of substance physicality as what is real, as this physical existence has slowly but surely throughout time diminished within being abused, destroyed, annihilated for the continued survival of and as the illusion as energy, as the mind consciousness system that I have come to believe and perceive, interpret as being life, when life is and has always been here with me as existence, physicality, equal to and one with the consequences of and as this world system that diminish the very physical existence as human beings' physical lives, the animals' physical existence, the earth's existence through slow, sure, but constant abuse, annihilation, and destruction that is imposed onto and towards actual physical reality as what is real for the world system of money to continue existing and surviving and creating the illusion of life living equal to and one with how my energy as mind create the illusion of life and living as at the cost of everything, everyone else. I commit myself to, through writing and self-forgiveness, identify the nature of my relationships to and towards others as me, what exists as me, to establish how I have accepted and allowed myself to program my relationships to all within the context of interest, as gaining, generating energy only for me to continue existing, surviving as energy, which has created manifested consequences towards my human physical body and others' physical lives, existences, Because for me to be able to exist as energy, that which is real, physical as substance, diminished within the context of abuse, destruction, as I had to go to great length to obtain energy, even at the cost of others' lives and futures. I commit myself to, as I identify the nature of the relationships that I have programmed within self-interest to gain, generate energy for and as myself, as consciousness, the mind, reconsider my starting point to those such parts of me, and reinvestigate how I can practically assist and support myself to realign my relationships to and towards all that is me, so that I can stand within my equality and oneness in the realization that those such parts of me is in fact me. And so assist and support them equal to and one with how I've assisted and supported myself to realize, stand, live with and as my equality and oneness, for them to stop the separation and consequence of energy and consciousness, and so walk, stand, stop, one by one, until we all gain and emerge and stand within our equality and oneness, with as ourselves represented by, through, and as this physical existence. I commit myself to, as I identify and establish solutions to my relationships with and as all that exists, I stand as a living example to identifying and establishing solutions within the functioning, existing of this world system of money, where I will investigate the nature of the relationships between the world system, money, towards all that is physical and present, and eventually implement solutions where all of humanity can function within equality and oneness on this earth, with and as all other living beings, manifestations, and expressions. Because as I walk my equality and oneness within, and seeing, realizing the solutions to separation, and I live this correction as myself, I will start seeing solutions to the functioning, existing of this world system that can be implemented to ensure a life of equality and oneness for each individual on this earth.